Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. I know this is a live stream, but it is what it is. I just had the fight was on the schedule. I didn't have a lot of anticipation for it going into the fight. Danny Jacobs and John Ryder over in the UK. Jacobs dropped the decision, 12-round decision, split decision. 115, 113 on all of the cards. Obviously, only one of them were in favor and in favor of Jacobs. I thought he won the fight, but I mean, was it a robbery? Was he overseas and got? What's up, Latours, man? I don't know if you caught this fight or not. I'm not gonna sit here and try to say it's over for Danny Jacobs or he needs to move on. I don't ever want to see him fight again. I'm not saying he's past it or he's a bum, but from what I saw, I didn't see a guy who's ready to go forward. He doesn't seem to be capable of executing on the level that he would need to execute to beat the better guys in the division. And 168 is not like it's just not a red hot division. It's not a lot of guys in there that most of us want to see. From what I just saw, I don't know if he would be able to beat Anthony, my man from Flint, Durrell. I don't know if he would be able to beat Anthony Durrell. He just doesn't seem. I mean, I'm thinking of Jacobs, and I know we're years past it, but the Jacobs that knocked down Derevianchenko in the first round, I think. I don't see that type of execution. Whether it's getting into position, whether it's setting up a shot, whether it's using his feet, his reflexes, speed, his strategy, whatever was there before, I just didn't see any of that. You saw Andre Rozier was like, man, I need to see some mean. Like, you being too nice to this guy. And he kind of just plods along at the same pace all night doing the same thing. I'm really not in love with how he uses his jab. It's not really a head snapping jab. He did throw a couple of 1-2s in the 7th round. I think he from the southpaw position, he threw the 1-2 that kind of and the 2 snapped Ryder's head. He didn't follow it up with anything. He was a little too far out of range to land it, most effectively. But he landed it. But he's just kind of content with just standing there. Kind of he tucks up, gets his guard tight, turns and rolls with some shots. He stands in the pocket. He doesn't move around, excessively and not look to fight. He's just kind of in there. I think he said it going into this fight, just kind of going through the motions. I really don't see a dude like. I said this in fight week. You're talking about trying to track down or have some kind of justification for a rematch with Canelo Alvarez, who's the undisputed super middleweight champion. That's what your objective is to do something that could possibly, and that ship has sailed. In all likelihood, that ship has sailed. You're not going to get a rematch against Canelo Alvarez. I mean, he would have had to knock John Ryder into the 2nd row or something for there to be anybody clamoring for Canelo Jacobs too. That's how impossible that goal was. But like I said last week, who knows how long Canelo holds on to these belts and before he relinquishes them, and then a bunch of guys have a chance to fight for a vacant title. So I just think if you're looking this way against a John Ryder who's just who put in a blue collar job, kind of stay close, bang away, volume, Nothing really special, but to fight that fight with him, I just don't know how you go and fight a David Benavidez or you, like I said, you can't get the Canelo fight. I wouldn't like him against Anthony Durrell. Maybe you can get a fight with Caleb Plant. Maybe it's attractive for Charlo to come up to 168, and you can have a fight with him. You could have. What I'm saying, what I saw right there was a guy who just really doesn't fight with any sense of urgency. You know that you're coming off of a piss poor performance against Gabriel Rosado, which many of us thought you lost that fight. I just he's just in there. And if your heart isn't into it, at this point, what's the sense of being in there? I don't know. Like I said, the dude knows how to fight, knows how to box, but just not a whole lot of body work the whole 12 rounds. No double. I just don't understand that little flicking jab. No real purpose with the jab, or to create an opening for the jab. No combination punching really. It's just a 35-year-old guy that's just in there just boxing. Unfortunately, gets another loss on his record against a guy who I do think he was better than. But you gotta do enough to make it happen, and that's his thing. He's never really came across like a guy who refuses to lose, who hates to lose. And I'm listening to him on the Chris Mannix podcast last week, kind of like the last interview that he did ahead of the fight, and he was talking about being reinvigorated, teaming back up with Rozier, getting back to what he started, who he started with, where he started, and going over the things that they used to go over to getting to do to look how he needed to look, perform how he needed to perform. He was very confident in himself and talking himself up, and how he had to, he was on weight the whole training camp, actually had to gain some weight at some point. He expected to be very strong. He was talking about how he can do it all in the ring. And he can't. He knows his way around the ring and is a professional fighter. But, it comes down to execution. And when he had 36 minutes to do it, he really just didn't execute sharply enough for enough long stretches to convincingly to convince the judges, at least two of the judges, to give him the fight. I thought he won it by, it could have been an 8-4 fight to me, maybe no less than obviously 7-5, but I thought he could have been 8-4. And then for the Matchroom and Eddie Hearn turned to, well, Canelo could fight Ryder. In what world is that fight attractive to anybody? Because what you just did against a guy flashing a jab all night and allowing you to dictate to him in some of the middle rounds, and and whatnot. You're not doing any of that against a Canelo. And Canelo is going to start faster and be more and dictate to it. That's not even a fight we want to see. So I don't know, man. Danny Jacobs, I don't know where you go from here. A gentleman of the game, a classy guy. He's made some decent money, I suspect. And maybe he wants to come back. Maybe he can come back and get one more in. Do they do a rematch? I don't know. I had to watch the fight because it was on the schedule. That's my thoughts on it. No uppercuts, not a ton of uppercuts. And it was, whenever it is, and he was switching to southpaw at some points, as I mentioned with that 1-2 that he threw in the 7th round. But sometimes I'm a little slow to criticize some of these guys when it's a orthodox fighter against a southpaw. You don't know how that is gonna play out, but it was bigger than just that. It's just having the gumption and the urgency to go in there and get it and seal a victory. And maybe he thought he was maybe he thought he had the fight in his hands and he didn't need to press and maybe make a mistake. You know, maybe that's what it was, and so that's why that sense of urgency wasn't there. But you got to seal the deal, and he failed to do so. Bite down, boxer. Don't let him count you out. Hey, if you want to support the channel and the website bitedownboxing.com, you could do so if you're bet on sports by signing up with BetUs, betus.com.pa. And if you use promo code JOIN125, you know, I could get something, some funds from everybody that uses that site could trickle back to me, you know, just a quarter here, quarter there, some, you know, nothing that's going to help me quit my day job. But anyway, pay me no mind, sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.